All right, ladies and gentlemen, game number one here in the semifinals with a very familiar face. I see it on my t-shirt quite frequently. Right next to that fried chicken, it's going to be the blue Protoss Patience.
The top right, Al's the red Terran. He is GuMiho.
Okay, so some people are saying it's the first time they saw an actual base trade on base trade. Surprisingly enough, guys, it happens all the time.
Yeah, it does.
A little bit of a throwback here. When we were thinking of a name for the channel initially, and this is like way before, like this is like years before I even met Zombie Room, we were just thinking like something silly because we didn't think that this channel would ever grow to be a big thing. This time I win. I don't know if that's a message for us or if he's got like a thing with GuMiho. Oh shit! Damn! But we picked base trade just because we thought it'd be funny hearing other casters say the name of our channel unintentionally, and funny enough, it actually ended up not only just growing to be something big now, which is cool, but base trades back in like what Wings of Liberty, the ends of Wings of Liberty, I guess, when we made this, like it wasn't super duper crazy common, but they became really common. So the name of the channel ended up working out really well.
Yeah. Well, when you add speed to everything, then of course it's gonna work out.
Oh,
More
some
speed.
commentary.
Yeah, I'm commentating this game, don't you know?
Oh no, I don't know because I'm too busy being a field reporter and not a commentator. Not a caster.
Here we are, coming at you live from Dusk Towers.
Yeah. Yeah, not a caster.
We put that as like a, oh shoot, what's the word?
Oh,
Like what pops up at like the bottom of the screen.
no, wait,
Disclaimer. There you go.
what show is that? I want to say like Workaholics or something. No, not Workaholics. But you know they always have those like sort of after scene credits for like productions and stuff, and it'll be like there's one that's like not a doctor. I can't remember which one it is.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. That's one for the mini project too, isn't it?
I think so, right? Or Parks and Rec or something, but
Or
yeah.
Parks and Rec.
I don't know what it's from, but anyways, point is it's like not a caster. It's just like,
Yeah, exactly.
Anyways, as far as TvP goes, I want to actually explain a little bit more about what they were talking about rather than the builds, because the Stargate opener to Patience is not so crazy. Patience is highly regarded in Korea as a very good Protoss player. Like, you guys have to understand, even if you don't want to take our words for it, he was like #1 on the Korean ladder for months, like without question. Then the trail behind him was really long and far. So a lot of the Koreans, like the I guess the murmurs, the gossip, what do you want to say, is like, how did this guy get so good? And nobody really knows, because when we first saw Patience play, he looked terrible. He had no build order. He was like kind of drunk. Like we had no idea what he was doing. But he is really good now. The problem is, in the last month or so, and I don't know if this is cause and effect of the Adept nerfs or what, he's starting to fall apart versus Terran. So saying this time I'll win, whether that was a message for us because he did lose the group, sadly, recently, where he fought only Terran, or whether he's got a little rivalry with GuMiho, I'm not sure either way. But so, GuMiho saying you'll lose, that was not just playful banter, that may have just been GuMiho saying, I'm a badass, sit down.
Patience also, like, wanted... Last Olimoleague, he was like, I want to win. I'm going to win. And then, like, Sulky beat him or something. Yeah. And he was like, aw. So that's what I thought he was referencing when he first said it. Like, this time, I'll actually do it.
Maybe. Either way, I love Patience. He is like, legit super adorable. So I'm rooting for him.
He really is. It's not just Rifkin in his t-shirt. Like, I can confirm he's pretty cute in real life.
I think my favorite memory of Patience actually is him learning how to play blackjack at Home Story Cup, and we're trying to walk him through it, and he obviously has no idea what we're talking about. It just very, very slowly, very like his hand shaking, slides a nickel onto the table and looks so proud, like, okay, now what? And we're like, no, dude, this is not, no.
Even I don't know how to play blackjack.
Okay, so the Cyclone does drive the Oracle out of the base. It's kind of nice. Not a lot actually happening here.
No, it's a Dust Towers game, I suppose. GuMiho does get a drop, however, gets on top of the Mothership core, and that, if that had gone down, this would have maybe turned into something a lot more, but Photon Overcharge, 4 Adepts, gonna take care of that base, not the other one. Still want to get that Mothership core.
Ooh. Yeah, it's a really high priority target, of course. 3 probes going down is not too bad so far. The Adepts...
Let's go back to the place? Go back to the main? Go get the Mothership core? No.
Nah, I was just going to try and use speed and get around this. The Adept Transfer is actually a nice move on top of this. Phoenix coming out as well to try and catch the medevac. Should have come back for round 2. So, for GuMiho, not crazy, but gets kills, which is nice, because Patience did have his third down so incredibly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, stasis wards. Actually, we've been seeing some really good use out of stasis wards recently. Like, whether it's the like PvP on Orbital, where we're seeing that one blink spot, or whether it's like versus Zerg. I just, in general, I really like good stasis traps. Problem is, it's really hard to get good stasis wards because players like GuMiho will probably see them coming.
Maybe. Definitely around your base on your own ramp. I think you'd expect them by now, but right outside of your own, you don't really want to scan there anyways. You might have scanned for an observer and accidentally saw the stasis trap, but gets caught entirely with it, so not so much.
Funny enough, you can actually dig on the Marines because most were caught, so yeah. Backs away. Couple of kills. People are saying it's Brooklyn 99 that's got that after it. Like, I would believe it, for sure. I'm pretty sure it's more than just one. Like, it's like an actual, like, the comedy...
Yeah, company or whatever.
Productions.
I don't know.
But yeah, thank you guys. Brooklyn Nine-Nine definitely is one of the shows that has that after it, because I love Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Rosa is like my second favorite character. Gina has to be my favorite. Like, if I could, I love Gina so much, so very badly.
I guess I should watch that show again.
Gina Tonic's alright too. I guess there's something with the name Gina. Makes for cool people.
Oh, I see. Probably. This is a fairly sizable army, which will have all of its upgrades. Patience looking for that Warp Prism to draw GuMiho back.
Yeah, so it's weird. I never really thought in Korean PvT I'd be referencing North American PvT, but Neeb, who's been looking better than even players like Patience recently, really good with their Warp Prism control, usage, and harass. And we'll see how well this does. The Cyclone does not lock on the Warp Prism, and he actually breaks the lock on by picking up and dropping really quick. That's pretty cute. But does that transfer go off? Gets over here killing some more SCVs.
Oh.
Widowmine, nicely positioned,
Nice.
actually.
SCVs will clean this up. Well, no, clean the one up, and the other one. It's a couple kills.
But a Disruptor's on the way. Same with the second Robo. Disruptors, it's so cool. Pulse is the only Terran player. Even amongst all these Koreans that we were constantly blessed with casting, Pult is still the only one we've seen really handle Disruptors well.
Oh, that goes down easily. You know, Ryung had some really good splits against Disruptors too in the group stage. So we'll see what GuMiho's looks like. To have the Widowmine drop killed like instantly like that did kind of suck. You know that the Mothership Core is not on the front line, but with force fields and a Disruptor, you wouldn't want to run into that. We have Ghosts coming out pretty quickly and Liberators. The Ghost coming out this quickly is more of a surprise, I suppose. Ghosts are always going to be useful. EMPs are always going to be useful, but there's not really anything that is like, I guess maybe the force fields. But there's no Templar, there's no charge lots.
That's the thing, like Ghosts are... Yeah, EMP's great, all these things, but Widowmines really took the role of like an early game Ghost for so long, and I do like that GuMiho had actually gone for Widowmines this game. Because whether it's Adepts or Zealots, it's not about getting the kill or the lot of damage, like, just the fact that it strips shields off of everything it hits makes it a pretty big deal.
Mm-hmm. Well, this has turned into a bit of a stalemate. So they both go back to their third bases. Should be getting a fourth. There's GuMiho, lined up his fourth right there. Into Colossus we go, because that has been the developments of PvT meta.
I just want to point out, too, Patience has been getting a lot of revelations off. So things like these two Liberators are not gone unseen, and he does have a Void Ray in the back of his base. This kind of goes back on, like, Patience being super adorable. I love how proud he was to show off, not that he like did it, but like to show off that he learned how good Void Rays were. Like, he's like, oh, I beat Cure with it. I'm now very happy. Like, this is great. I found like the solution, and then
the group stage happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, revelation. Last revelation, unfortunately, is the Oracle dies. I would actually say it's worth investing into another one. We got a nuke coming out of GuMiho though, which is kind of cool.
Ooh. That could do some serious damage on this ridge here as Patience to take the tower apart, the fourth base.
So the smoking remains of three robes that got picked off there. Problem is though, while Disruptors are great and all of this goodness, it's still there are going to be a couple of Liberator issues as the game persists, and we're seeing this happen across all regions. Just Liberators can sometimes be amazing and sometimes be terrible. It really depends on how the Protoss player responds to it. Seeing Void Rays is certainly cool, but in the heat of battle, those are going to get focused down by Marines very quickly. Mm-hmm. So while they're dealing with the harassing Liberators, just great. Oh, we want to get more hits, by the way, up to 8 now. It is the question of like how do you deal with them once there's advanced ballistics and once there's a lot of them. But GuMiho, funny enough, isn't going for a lot just yet. And
Oh, it's happening. Cloak is even done, and he's doing.
He can just pick it
this.
up. He can just pick it up and cancel it, can't he? Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why ghosts suck. That's why nukes suck.
Awkward.
Excuse me. Ghosts are great. Nukes suck.
Oh,
What am I? Are you serious?
GuMiho
Completely
just
out of
runs
position.
in here.
Yeah, this
Blitzes.
Robo's exposed.
Oh man, the nuke would have been so much cooler than
to zone out.
Then it would have.
Oh, it could have zoned out the army from pushing in. That would have been fantastic. Regardless, though, he gets the Nexus, gets the Robo, picks up, goes to drop somewhere else. And I mean, this damage is good because guess what? In the main, another drop goes off. In fact, 2 drops go off. Now, buy some time at the ramp, gets into that natural base. Patience now being torn apart. Can focus on both these forges, shut down these upgrades. +2 and +2 both denied.
This is so terrible for Patience. He was expecting a main army fight.
Gosh.
He had a perfect composition for a main army fight, but not one that was prepared to deal with a lot of drops. The 4th base is under attack again by the drop that killed the main.
You know, the thing about Patience, too, for this, I don't even think he called it wrong, necessarily, because every Terran player is playing more Deathball styles and a lot less of these drop-oriented harasses. If Patience predicted this coming, we would have seen a couple Sockers in position, we would have had Templar down way earlier for feedbacks, etc., etc., but he really wasn't. You're right, like, he was expecting GuMiho to go for this big push down the middle of the map. Misunderstanding that just cost him so much at home, and has almost triggered an attack now. He knows his upgrades have been denied. He's going to try and do as much damage as he can. EMP's not too bad.
He's really hoping that he also took down a significant part of the army, but you know, he really didn't. Now, a big part of the army is still in medevac.
Oh,
so
no, why are the Disruptors on the front line?
Army. Well, because reasons. They do pop their Disruptor shots, they don't do so well. There's not really any Liberators here to stop this. He's coming in from behind with the rest of the medevacs, however. They're going to top the Colossus.
But the Colossus might not matter, but the Stalkers are doing
still
pretty
three more
and those
medevacs.
Void Rays. Oh, the Voider's going ham! Kind of acting like immortals in this situation.
The medevacs aren't really helping. They run into the Blink Stalkers.
It's funny.
Maybe just enough.
It's funny.
Mines.
These are obliterating the Marauders, but then they like did nothing to the Marines. So this concave is actually pretty good at the end of the day. And Patience is absolutely smacked down. Now, of course, his tech was denied really hard behind this, and he didn't even bother getting more forges. So that was like questionably along the lines of an all-in. And having lost his army for it, that's not good.
This should go in GuMiho's favor. You know, 4 bases really uninterrupted. He didn't even pull SCVs in that fight. Or not a lot of them anyways. Still mining from that 3rd base. And his upgrades, of course, just accelerated because the double forge was sniped and it was never planted back down.
And he's going for Archons here because I don't think he's even intending for this game to go long enough for him to research storms. This is a bad game for Patience. This didn't start as a bad game for Patience, but it became one very quickly with those drops.
I guess a Robo was killed? Did he?
Yeah, it was.
Did he always have one?
It was in the natural. Remember, we just
I don't remember. I remember the Forge and the 2 Nexus and a bunch of gateways.
Both Robos got sniped. I thought only one got sniped. Both got sniped.
Oh well, there you go. Well, anyways, whether it's one or both, like you still. It's nice to have splash of any type, whether it's Colossus or Disruptor. It's still just a very small ground army. Like mostly Blink Stalkers do not handle bio with 3/3 upgrades very well. In fact, with a big enough army supply, you can attack into the Colossus as well. Not so much the Disruptor.
Yeah, that was that Maru style that really became popular. Just concaves drops, overwhelming. Almost happens here a little bit. These Liberators going to set up very nicely. Drop and the main goes off. Zealots. Oh, choked him by the mineral patches. Come on, boys. You know better.
Oh, yeah, they're ripped.
They don't know better.
Trying to deal with the 4th base, however, is a little more focused on that, I suppose. There's a huge army still waiting for GuMiho at his own 4th base that can be rallied forward and just take on the main army and win. He's almost doubled the army supply now.
This drop is destroying. Those Zealots are not enough. The overcharges aren't even a problem. He just walks away from them. GG. GuMiho gonna take the first game here in the semifinals.
Patience, you win now.
GuMiho went from like 0 to 60 with those drops like so quick. He just destroyed. I have no other way to describe that. That was amazing. Patience will have the small advantage here of map pick. We'll see what he goes with. Well, he gets that sorted. Orbital, okay. then we won't go to an ad break because he did it quickly, which was nice. And I prefer hopping into a game instead of sitting around twiddling our thumbs. So, yes, game number 2 coming up right now as we hop in. I hate to agree with this guy because of his name. Before 20 Blaze It guy in the chat says the StarCraft 2 scene is so unaware of what exists on the rest of Twitch. And I gotta say, I sometimes feel like that's the case.
Of course it's the case.
Like, people flip out about notifications, even if they're unintrusive. They go bananas over, like, the smallest things that are common elsewhere. And memes seem to be the one thing I'm surprised the StarCraft 2 community struggles to keep up with.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, it's a weird dynamic the way that works. I do love the BaseTradeTV community, though. And as long as people are here, I don't really care if they don't go to the rest of Twitch. Because, for the most part, we got a lot of really good people hanging out. For the most part. And the coolest part is when we meet the people who don't even talk in Twitch chat, have never even made a Twitch account. They just watch StarCraft. Those people are the best people. No, that's not true. But they are some of the best people. That's true. Anyways, game underway here for the Olimoleague. It's game 2 in the semifinals. And in the bottom left, he's up 1-0. GuMiho.
In the top right, as the red Protoss, he is Dead Pixel's Patience. I think I can be a prime example of someone who doesn't know anything else about Twitch.
I know, actually, I remember when I first realized that, like, we talked about it, I kind of, like, what the fuck, hard, like, I guess I spent so much time, actually, funny enough, like, outside of StarCraft on Twitch.
Yeah, I know you do. Like, you're always asking me, like, you know this person? No. Do you know this person? No. Just see, I don't know this person.
I mean, even if it's not for, like, your own enjoyment, like, some of the drama elsewhere on Twitch is worth watching because not only that it could be relevant to StarCraft
drama or nothing.
Yeah, it's like everyone watching right now. If you've only been part of the StarCraft scene, then you probably heard about things like, you know, for example, Winter and his viewbots, right? But believe it or not, that's like the smallest shit compared to some of the other viewbot accusations on Twitch and some of the other games that go on. It's phenomenal how small StarCraft has become from what was, like, you know, essentially the spark plug for esports.
Yeah, it's a spark plug for Twitch.
Yeah, a lot of people we know at Twitch, they actually still love StarCraft because it was like their first love. Everyone, like, it's not to say you can't love League of Legends and StarCraft at the same time, but everyone's like, yeah, man, StarCraft still, like, love it, love it, love it. Even though I haven't played it since, like, Wings of Liberty.
No one plays it. That's okay.
I really like co-op mode, man. I wish more people would try it out. Patience, by the way, going for his anti-Ryung tactics. Has to kind of bail on this. If you guys missed it during the group stages, after he started losing to Ryung initially, he had started doing these, like, really aggressive pylon adept / DT builds, and they won him games very nicely. However,
yes, they did.
GuMiho saying, I'm not having any of your shit.
Yeah, of course, Patience was losing to a lot of one-base builds. We haven't seen that from GuMiho yet. He is going up to a factory with a tech lab, but it seems to be only for a Cyclone. So that's a defensive position. Can you attack with Cyclone? Sure. If you get a scout entirely on their base and don't see anything that could threaten your main, if you do leave the Cyclone.
It's really hard, though, because the Cyclone, we've been over this so many times. Like, it is such a glass cannon unit versus armored specifically. So the low health means you can keep it at home pretty safely, and it's nestled in. Nice. It'll stop war prisms, it'll stop attacks, oracles, you name it, you're fine. But if you want to bring that thing across the map, like, a Depths can even kill it. It has 120 health. It has less health than a Stalker in context.
Yeah, but a lot more range, and that's why it can be used very effectively across the map. Orbital Shipyard, not really what we see with it, though, because there's a ramp, obviously, that you would have to go up to. Oh, that was weird. And we see it more like Lairlac Crest, where you can get up the ramp, and then you have room to maneuver around while still having the lock-on not break, basically. So it looks like GuMiho is just going to keep it at home. His Reaper didn't get really that bad of a scout, but just, you know, couldn't get all the way behind and see the Twilight Council. So he actually doesn't know what tech it is. If it's a Stargate, if it's a Robo. Of course, Robo and Twilight Council eventually will always come down, but you just don't know how quickly.
Now, GuMiho being up 1-0, of course, can kind of do what he'd like, but the thing about GuMiho is he does have cool builds like what we saw with versus Sulky in his back pocket. He is, for the most part, a pretty regular player in terms of, like, I don't expect him to do something crazy with like a battle cruiser or hyperflight rotors in this matchup. So that being said, you could only screw up playing Bio so many ways, and there's not a lot of ways to do that. Now with Liberators being what they are.
That's a pretty nice scan. That C is obviously gateways you would expect. Twilight Council, you can't unfortunately see if that's Blink or Resonating Glaives or Robo, but also sees a couple of gateways off to the left. You know, there's always going to be more than one when it's like that.
What if you could scan once, right? It does a regular scan. But if you scan an area you've already, like it is currently scanned, it revealed what was researching.
I actually don't even think that would be that overpowered. Terrans are already so stingy with their scans.
I guess the downside is a lot of elements that make Protoss cool are that guessing game. Like, is it going to be... Because in the past, it used to be, is it a Colossus, is it not? Is it going to be... play call-in,
yeah.
is it not?
It makes them cool in, you know, that's one way to put it. But it's so funny because the Stargate reveals what is coming out of the Stargate. Why does nothing else? What? Like this?
Yeah, actually, it's funny you
Could
bring
they
that
not
up. Could
cover like a drape over the Stargate?
It's just like a little red curtain, like...
Yeah.
Nothing to see here. Thank you, by the way, for that 5-month resub, Jazz Thing SC2.
All right, well, a little bit of aggression here. We did see a couple of tanks come out for GuMiho, another one on the way, so that's just the way he's going to play it. It sets you up in a more defensive position, but again, not something that can only be defensive. You can push out with these tanks. You just have to be careful, you know? They get surrounded, they're not so great. If they get picked off, like the Blink Stalkers, they're not so great. Actually, growing out here, GuMiho might have overextended. He has no stim, not yet, just seconds away. Okay, GuMiho I thought was going to attack from behind with the depths, but he actually just lifts them into the main base, so never mind. He does have a couple of units back at home.
This push coming is a little bit weird, right? Because when the Immortal comes out, it can shred a tank, sure, but he actually doesn't have the fodder for it necessarily, especially with the Adepts missing. It does a little bit of fancy footwork here with the Blink Micro, but other side of the map, just really not getting a lot done. It's so worth noting, Patience not going for +1 is why these Adepts are kind of failing a bit. You can only... It takes 3 shots to kill the SCVs instead of 2.
Yeah. GuMiho does find a fairly abusive position. Now, with only 1 tank, this isn't, like, really, really scary. Like, with 3 or 4, and you're, like, in a ton of trouble. But, of course, that medevac adds a lot.
He disabled barrier autocast.
Wasn't he the last one that did this on, like, Arena?
Yeah, so I don't mind that he does this, but I was like, man, are you really going to let that thing die before you pop it? Like, what are you doing? You're playing a dangerous game of chicken here, Patience. What the hell? Because I can certainly see some situations where you let the Immortal get low and you pop it manually later, and you're kind of like, okay, I baited him into really diving for it, right? But the Immortal does his job. The Stalkers bully their way in. He could blink up to the high ground and take no damage. But either way, Patience does clean this up. And GuMiho doesn't really have a follow-up. A big part of this being that he just doesn't have enough medevacs to carry everything across the map. So now that Patience is on the counter, we'll see how much this can get done. But I actually... Like, well, GuMiho can't get aggressive. I think he's got a perfectly fine defensive situation set up.
Yeah, I think he's fine defensively. Like, he ended up taking enough Stalkers down with him, and honestly, it wasn't, like, that much of an army to send out like he did. That being down 20 army supply is a little scary, but only in bad positioning. You know, 3 tanks, even a Cyclone can really help out, especially if it logs on to an Immortal. He should be good. Now, it logs on a depth, it's a bit wasted. We are going to see a Patience attempts to bust this. Or not. He is retreating / meeting up with his reinforcements. Okay, he's just meeting up. So GuMiho, he just needs to not unsiege his tanks, and he should have a very good chance to take this fight, especially with 1/1 upgrades and Marauder slow finishing up here. But then he moves his army. Ah!
Okay, this is really dangerous for a lot of different reasons. Like, let's say Patience was actually repositioning to the south. Blink Stalkers would have caught all this. Now I guess defensively speaking, Patience is going to have a terrible defense, but his offense is so strong. And the fact that there's nothing here, this should be just a stomp for him. Tanks being repositioned all over the place.
I like that. Yeah. Give up your third. Hopefully you can hold up in the main for a little while longer while your own drop it's a base trade. Yay! This is going to get him some production in the main base, whatever he can actually sneak out here. He actually saves the orbital.
No high ground vision, actually. His warp prism's still in the middle of the map, so he can't actually push up here.
Ooh, this might not be so bad. Oh, nice pickup.
Yeah, it starts blinking now, which is nice, but of course if you blink in, you're not going to have an escape path. So try to just break through the front walls, costing him a lot, actually. I guess distracted on the other side of the map. He's starting to lose all these gateways. Any chance of a reinforcement no longer here. The medevac's getting focused down, meaning there's no more shimmying around with these tanks, and he has absolutely broken the defense of GuMiho. But at the same time, GuMiho is going ham on the other side of the map. But I don't know if this has got the DPS to do an actual base race. A base trade? Sure, but a base race? I think GuMiho's got the unfortunate shtick in this one. So he's going to lift everything, try and float it away. Scumbag Terran. Force foot on that ramp can help a little bit.
I thought GuMiho was taking an okay fight with his reinforcements, especially with the tanks being, pushed around like they were, but really the armor supply is still heavily in favor of Patience.
Yeah, and actually
I think GuMiho loses this.
Yeah, back at home, Patience actually has a pretty nice defense set up. Kind of sucks that the Mothership Core doesn't have the energy, of course, but the fact is that... yeah, I think if Patience could kind of just move home. I'm surprised he didn't go kill everything with the Adepts. They're just kind of AFK doing nothing, but...
if he splits up his army, I guess that's a possibility, but, seriously, GuMiho's army is not very big. He might have been better off actually taking all of the reinforcements he was making in the main.
Patience, bro, wake away all your probes, man.
It's one medevac, that's it. That's not enough. GG.
Patience ties up the series 1-1. And that's going to send us to the ace match. We are going to play a small commercial break while we get there, so GuMiho going to pick his map, and we'll see you guys soon. All right, folks, game number 3 coming down. It's tied up 1 apiece as we get into the deciding match for the Olimoleague. Winner of this will go on to fight against what is surprisingly Labyrinth Nova, who 2-1's Blaze.
Yeah.
Again, I told you guys, we keep seeing this guy knock people out in the brackets. No idea what his deal is. We'll learn when we get there, because the winner, one of these two, will go against him. In the upper left side, we've got the Red Terran. It's none other than GuMiho.
In the bottom left, as the blue Protoss, he is Dead Pixel's Patience, and now I know why GuMiho chose this map.
Yes. Also very important that Patience got to scout that as well.
Yeah. I think it's a guarantee that they're going to scout, especially Patience, who dies this so often, but he has scouted this plenty of times and then still died to the follow-up. Whatever it's going to be, Hellions, Liberator, Widowmine drop, whatever it is, he's died to it, so... I don't know. I don't know.
Funny enough, the extra Nexus isn't so bad in this situation because by going for the Nexus, you've got somewhere to at least take those probes to if there's danger in the main. So, you're scared of mining because there's 2 Widowmines down, or a Liberator zoning it out. You can transfer over to the natural. But for those who don't know why we're freaking out about this story, I guess we're not providing some good context here. For the new viewers, Patience has played a lot of PvT on stream recently, and a lot of these one-base builds that we've been referencing all day have been killing him. And again, whether it is something like a Liberator, or even Hellion drops, or Hellion run-bys, we've seen it all, and Patience, sadly, has died to it all. Something about just the strength of a one-base opener really shuts him down. But
yeah,
in most of those situations, I don't know, it feels like Patience panics a bit. I'm hoping this time, with just the decision to throw them that Nexus really quick, already says to me he's playing this one a little more calmly, just thinking a little more ahead.
I feel though, Patience always starts off with okay, I'm calm, I can do this, or I get the things, get the units in position, alright, I'm gonna go, oh Jesus, it hits me, and then he freaks out.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if it's gonna be the same case here. He's going for a Stargate, which does seem to be the catch-all to all defenses. It can get detection. It can get, it can actually kill whatever air transport is available. And he could try the Void Ray thing again, which did destroy the last person we saw in the Olimoleague specifically who tried this against him. It just slapped that guy down, and then he didn't use it in the groups, so I don't know.
And then he had referenced, of course, using it versus Cure, another very good Terran player out there. So you're right. I'm not sure what will come out of it. I mean, a Phoenix, in my opinion, is going to be great against anything and everything, but... some Adepts in hold position over here. Just looking for the Hellions to try to run by. Adepts are actually pretty good versus Hellions, so maybe if we can get these picked off early on enough, you won't have to worry about the 2-pronged attack and just focus on the 1.
I guess, what also would have helped? A pylon in the middle.
Yeah, actually, quite a bit. Not even sarcastic. That would have been an amazing choice.
Yeah, this works too, I suppose.
Void Ray is coming. Foot on overcharge is going to have to do some work until it's out, though. Mothership Core is in a bad position for this. Probe's getting pulled. It's so desperate.
Yeah, this is starting out fine for Patience.
Oh no, why are you in hold position? Just let him kill you. What the
Wasn't paying attention. Oh, the
Lose the
mothership
mothership core. This is not going fine
Oh
for
no!
Patience.
He's starting to freak out.
Like-
He's starting to freak out. His heartbeat is going. Nice
Like,
one.
rather than the Adepts in the middle, if he just put a pylon here, you're right, the Hellings wouldn't have been able to run through. That would have been fantastic. Now that he's actually been able to bulk everything up, the problem is that Void Ray might do a little bit of damage, sure, but the Marines could actually take it on with what's out. The Adepts have to actually cull the Marine count ever so slightly for that Void Ray to do work. In fact, did he cancel it? No, there it is from the south side.
It is so useful. Like the Marines, technically, I guess with like really good micro too, could take it on. But here comes the Cyclone, which can also, if it gets in the range and out of range very quickly, can take on a Void Ray. But this has been cleaned up,
Ooh,
and it did not
catch the
kill
medevac,
Patience.
catch the medevac. Not paying attention, misses the medevac.
It didn't kill him. This is already great.
Yeah, okay, so that's funny. We are perhaps being a little overly critical, but because of the context of knowing that Patience has died to these moves before, the fact that he is alive is actually fantastic.
Way to go, buddy. A plus. This is a one base build is supposed to do damage. So the fact that it really has only killed, let's see, 1 probe and 2 adepts and a mothership core, I guess, was pretty nice. I still don't think it's enough. We'll see about the follow-up, however. GuMiho does have his command center ready to transfer over. It is an orbital.
He's going for another Void Ray. I don't know about that.
Yeah, 3 Void Rays is that very awkward amount where, you know, it's not the mass Void Rays we've seen in the past. This destroys everything, but it's not small enough to just be like for like that one case scenario. This is something that would probably be brought with his army if he was ever to fight. It might be targeted down instantly.
I guess the upside is if you happen to, like, let's just say through sheer luck, randomly catch one of the medevacs, popping both those prismatic alignments, it kills both medevacs before they can do anything, and even a Viking doesn't really do too well. You can kite, though, which is nice. This was so silly about the Viking. Who was it? Lelouch or whoever was really about the whole move and shoot thing?
Yep, that was him.
That really is what drew my attention to things like Vikings and such, especially with their interaction with StarCraft 2. But yeah, in a perfect scenario, I mean, like the Viking could cut these down forever, but it's not worth the attention you have to spend.
The same way, well, actually, I guess the physics that were introduced in Heart of the Swarm were actually pretty obvious, and we still, like, you know, we laugh at them to this day. But in kind of the same vein, it was something that is, like, a little bit that was tweaked that people just, you know, they don't really consider part of the game. But the Viking and a couple other units were actually tweaked, not obviously. Like, the Viking has, I think, faster acceleration and a faster air-to-ground transformation or something like that. And I remember we very much so noticed this when we first started playing around with every single unit we could in Legacy of the Void. We were like, do the Vikings feel different to you?
Yeah,
they feel really weird. Yeah, and we've forgotten about a lot of that, but Lola should bring up some points that were pretty important. I think actually David Kim, like, actually, the designers, the testers, whatever, did actually pay attention to that video and tried to make the Viking a little more intuitive.
I don't know about this. He's going to pick up a lot of reactors, the supply depot too, that's cool, but the second Marine stim underneath this.
They do have stim, which he sees now, but it's just, I guess he just assumes the Voiders are run away, which they do now.
It's going to go for the counterattacks. So screw it, you kill my reactors. So what? I got a big army. And he does, but a force field is going to hold the ramp, which is nice. Patience not in a lot of immediate danger. He turned this pylon block into what I guess was going to be an approximate or proximity warp in, but the medevacs.
Oh, Jesus.
Again, same situation. Just stop being out of position.
That would be really terrible for GuMiho. He is just going to drop, looks to the right of the rocks. Unfortunately, his reinforcements are, you know, they're going to have to go through that choke. He doesn't really want to do that. He wants at their base.
For those who don't know, by the way, the Olimoleague does pay 3rd and 4th place prizing out, but it's only $15. So there is a little bit of money on the line for this match. No one wants to fall on that 4th place spot.
Well, we have our first Disruptor out, and we're going to also have Ghost off of 2 bases. Ghosts are kind of expensive. This is a bit of an investment.
That actually startled the fuck out of me because I forgot we haven't had any action through Twitch alerts this morning, so I was like, what was that sound? Rain SC2 says, every time I make a break from playing myself, I check on Team looking for streams, and lately you have always been up there with great matches in the most perfect time for me. So thank you very much. And Rain SC2, man, I will even forgive you for the way you spelled much, because I actually think that's a better way to spell much than the way the English language dictates. M-U-T-C-H.
I have it up. Oh, okay.
Anyways, thank you for the $5 though, man. That's awesome. Disruptor shot bowling through. Unfortunately, not going to catch that bio. If we had stayed a little bit closer, could have been more dangerous. But, you know, this kind of is... It's going to go for Vikings. A lot of Vikings. I guess he's expecting a lot more Void Rays, but my question is, where are the Liberators?
Yeah,
The same
usually...
way... I mean, these chokes are so bad because of the Disruptors, but at the same time, because of Liberators.
Right. Usually we see Liberators just in general before Ghosts. Like, you're on 3 bases, you're getting 1 or 2, and then maybe you're heading to 4, so you start getting Ghosts as well. But certainly not Ghosts on 2 bases long before the Liberators. But those EMPs are pretty good. They hit like every single unit in that army. You're just stimming forward.
Interestingly enough, like, the Void Rays wouldn't be too bad if they had more ground support, but unfortunately they do get focused down pretty damn quick. Mothership 4 goes down. Patience is starting to fall apart. Everything just dying on him, and none of these overcharges are in range for this fight. So while it is just Marines, and funny enough, if like a Colossus was spawned, it wouldn't be too bad in this situation. Patience is going to lose this third, and that third going down sucks because he's down in army supply pretty hardcore right now.
Yeah. Important to note that GuMiho does not have a third. He has a main that moved over to his third. So like
deception.
Like, it could be okay if his army was actually strong enough to push this back, but it is not. So GuMiho will take the 2-1.
I'm sad because my boy Patience went down again.
He said he was gonna win.
I love Patience. He just can't even. Yeah, GuMiho said no, you'll lose. So I guess GuMiho was right in this instance. But this means we're going to the grand finals, guys, and I don't want to hold these players up. So we're going to go to a commercial break as quick as we can to knock it out of the way, and we'll see you in the grand finals soon.